it's Flo, and this is my impression of a 1930s gangster using Progressive's Name Your Price tool.
Yeah, see? This Name Your Price tool really lays it all out on the table, see? All I had to do was tell her how much I wanted to spend, and it gave me options in one place, see? Makes all of it easy to see?
It's easy to find insurance that fits your budget with the Name Your Price tool. Only at Progressive.com.
I might need glasses so I can see more when I'm doing gangster stuff, see?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hello. Happy Tuesday, everyone. This is Chere Cofield, and you are tuned in to Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield, the Stress Manager. And I hope that your week so far has been absolutely glorious. I know it's only Tuesday, but believe me, if your Monday started off wrong, it can shape your entire week. So that's why I'm here, to make sure that you're stressing less so that the remainder of your week can be fabulous and less stressed. Every week, if you're just tuning in to Stress Less Radio for the first time, this is an hour all about you, to just relax, rejuvenate your mind and your body. And, of course, you know we have to add in a little education, because education has never hurt anybody. So relax, get your glass of wine, get your cup of tea or coffee, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable, relaxed, kick your heels up, take those shoes off, and just relax and unwind with us for the next hour. Tonight we're going to have a guest that's going to talk to us about the number one stressor in the world, and that's finances. That's right. Everyone wants more money. You need more money. Then when you get more money, you don't know what to do with the money. Your credit score may be jacked up. We got ways that we can help you out to stress less through financial health. And so our guest this evening, Mr. Scott Glover, he's a financial guru. That's what I call him anyway. He may beg to differ, but I'm going to call him a financial guru. And he's going to talk to us about ways to fix that credit score and stress less while you get those finances in order. So make sure you stay tuned in for this evening show. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield, the Stress Manager. And, you know, before we get started, we always have to do some housekeeping. So we want to mention our dynamic sponsors, Adam and Eve is one of our amazing sponsors, Total Woman Wellness with Delana K. Watkins. And also we have May We Help You Radio Network. We want to thank all of our sponsors, because without you, Stress Less Radio would not be here. And we're super excited that we are also on iHeartRadio as well as Spreaker and 20 other sites. So it's super, super exciting things are happening for our network as well as for Stress Less Radio. Also, make sure you visit me on my website. Stay in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. Visit my website, ChereCofieldInternational.com. ChereCof as in Frank, IELD. And that's at ChereCofieldInternational.com, And then when you go on there, sign up for my monthly newsletter. It's totally free. And then you can also go and take the stress quiz on my website. We've made some changes to the website. It's looking really good. If you want to find out some more information about different events that are going on in the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area, make sure you visit my website. We have upcoming events page that'll keep you in the know about what's going on. So without further ado, I'm going to mention some of those events that I think that you would definitely be encouraged to check out. So one is June 13th. You know, you have to relax. You have to rejuvenate your mind, your body sometime. What better way to do that than some smooth music? So I'm going to be emceeing an evening featuring distinguished men of soul. So it's Kevin Jackson. He's a guitarist, producer, and songwriter. Mark Evans. He's a singer, songwriter, and international recording artist. And last but not least, Mr. Marcel Russell. He's a soul singer. They're all going to be in the Owings Mills, Maryland area on June 13th. The show starts at 7:30 p.m. I'm going to be there, so come on out, join me. Let's have some fun. I'm telling you, it's going to be a show that you don't want to miss. 3 distinguished men of soul, and they are not lying. They are truly some soulful gentlemen, and they will get you off your feet, have you feeling good and less stressed. So make sure you check it out. If you want to get tickets for that, it's womenschallenge.net. womenschallenge.net. You can go there and get your tickets. And I know they're running a couple specials, early bird or something like that, so make sure you check that out. Also, on November 6th and 7th, Playtime is Over. It's a 2-day women's symposium, and Cheryl Wood Empowers is presenting that. And I went last year, and it was an amazing, amazing conference. But she's pulling out some heavy hitters again this year. She has the chief editor of Essence Magazine is going to be there. She has one of the ladies from Harpo Studios is going to be there. Rest and Limousine owner is going to be there. So I'm going to be there as a speaker talking about self-care and managing your stress. So make sure you come on, check it out. If you're looking for tickets to that 2-day women's symposium, it's PTIOconference.com. PTIOconference.com. That's Playtime is Over conference.com. That's going to be in Virginia. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Also, I want you to mark your calendars. June, I want to say the 27th. I may be mistaken, but it's on my website. We're doing the launch of the Fearless Living Experience. It's a book project with a bunch of dynamic women. It's a book collaboration, and that's going to be our launch right down at the National Harbor. So we would love to see your face there. Come on out. Make sure you get your book about how fearless all these amazing women are. All right, I think that's everything so far. Also, there's a Wealthy Artist Summit that you can tune into. It's totally free, and I did a segment with Nicole Peterman. She's a Zen Red, New York City, and so we talked about total person stress management, breaking that starving artist mold, and tapping into your confidence and taking control of your career. So if you go to thewealthyartistsummit.com, you can listen to that segment for free. I think last time I spoke with everyone here, I was going to the Power to Be Tea, which was a panel discussion down in New Jersey, and that was absolutely phenomenal. It was a room full of amazing, powerful women. We all had our hats on, and our pinkies were up in the air. We were doing tea time together, and it was truly amazing. It touched on every avenue of life. Anti-trafficking advocate Kelly Master was there, and Assemblywoman Gabriel Mosquero, she was there, as well as Natasha Brown, who's the CBS anchor and reporter. She was there, as well as Cheryl Wood, and they just poured into all of us, and we had a phenomenal, phenomenal time. So make sure, if you want to find out upcoming events in the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area, go check out my website, ChereCofieldInternational.com. Make sure you do the free stress quiz and also sign up for the free newsletter. Now, each week on Stress Less Radio, we give you a stress less tip of the week. So this week's stress less tip is to forgive freely. That's right. That's probably one of the hardest things as humans that we can do is to forgive. Now, I know people say, hey, I can forgive you, but I'll never forget. Well, part of freely forgiving or forgiving people freely is to forget the error that was caused against you. Even if you were wronged, be the first one to forgive and free your mind. When you're holding on to things that people did to you, they said to you, did to you, you are clogging up your mind, you're clogging up your spirit. Stress comes from holding on to things that you need to let go of. So let go of whatever's been done to you in the past. Today, if somebody did something to you, go ahead and just forgive them. Chuck it up. They might not even know they did it. It might not even have been intentional. Just chuck it up, forgive them, and keep it moving. I promise you, your spirit will feel better. Your mind will be free because you're not trying to recount every single thing that was done to you. Each week, we also do a relaxation destination of the week. And this week's relaxation destination is Beijing, China. That's right, Beijing. We're going to take you far away. I'm not even sure how long the flight is for Beijing. If anybody knows, go ahead and hit me up and let me know, or press 1 and tell us all about it. I've never been. I would love to go one day, but I don't know. I'm kind of leery of the food. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm ready to take that venture. I have to pack my own doggy bag. But anyway, the weather in Beijing during the day is about 85 to 92 degrees, so it's pretty warm over there in Beijing. And then in the evenings, it's 59 to 64 degrees. But definitely, if you go to Beijing, there are a lot of sights to see, a lot of foods to taste. That's my part. I'm telling you, that's the part that I'm afraid of. I don't know. I don't know about trying all those other foods. Tell me what you think. But, yeah, you can definitely travel. They have lots of places that you can see. It's actually the capital of the Republic of China. So, and it's been publicized all over the place. Beijing is definitely popular. They have a lot of tourist attractions as far as the buildings and sightseeing and Chinese artifacts and things like that you can go out and check out. So Beijing, when you're doing your creative visualization throughout the week, when you're closing your eyes, you're taking those deep breaths. You're taking yourself out of your current environment to stress less. Go ahead and take yourself, think about Beijing, think about the fact that their weather is just absolutely gorgeous. Think about the beautiful buildings and the scenery. It's just a place full of peace that you can go and just relax and rejuvenate your mind and your body. So again, the relaxation destination of this week is Beijing, China. And the stress less tip of the week is to forgive freely. That's right, forgive freely. You heard it here on Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield. Now, as I mentioned, tonight's guest is Mr. Scott Glover, and he's going to help us to realize what we need to do in order to stress less when it comes to finances, because finances is the number one cause of stress all over the world. Either you don't have enough money, or if you have money, you're not managing it right, or if you have money, you may be just frivolously spending. Is your credit score where you would like for it to be? Well, guess what? My next guest, Mr. Scott Glover, he has a drive and passion for educating consumers about credit and how to dramatically improve your FICO scores. How many people know what their FICO scores is out there? Well, he's going to help you improve your FICO scores, and it's made him ideally suited for his current role. He's the senior credit analyst for Upscore FICO Solutions. That's his company name, Upscore FICO Solutions. During his previous 10-year career in corporate, he was with Citibank and PNC, and while he was with them, he realized that there was a critical need for a comprehensive program that provides consumers with extensive credit education and coaching so that they could be properly positioned for lending opportunities. So how many people out there want to buy a home? You want to get a new vehicle, but your scores just may not be quite where you think they should be. Well, with Upscore FICO, it's a financial services firm that specializes in credit education. Through providing advanced FICO enhancement solutions, their goal is to raise your FICO scores to exceed 700. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Scott Glover to Stress Less Radio. Hello, Scott. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing quite well. How about you, Chere?
I am doing good. So listen, we know finances, credit, oh my goodness, that stuff gives me a headache just thinking about it. So that's why people need you in the world, right? Somebody that enjoys doing this. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background as far as helping people with improving their credit and their finances.
Well, okay, no problem. I can definitely do that. Well, I started out in finance about 10 years ago. I was a corporate lender for PNC and also Citibank. And as you said, while I was in corporate lending, I realized that a lot of people that I was servicing were not getting approved for lending opportunities. Okay, it could have been the time frame because this is, post 2008, so a lot of banks weren't lending at the time. However, FICO scores, were a key driver in declinations as well, or rejection letters that you receive from requested from lending requests as well. So, long story short, after seeing a lot of my clients, go through the process of going through the application and then getting declined, and these are for, lending opportunities that they actually need to take advantage of, whether it be for a small business loan, a line of credit, whatever it is, they were getting denied. And so I knew that there had to be something that needed to be put in place to help these clients with their FICO scores, because normally a lot of people are unaware of what their FICO score is or how to improve it. There's a lot of myths out there, and so what I did was develop a program to, pretty much separate the facts from fiction, and so that's why I'm here now. And developed Upscore FICO. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying okay. I was agreeing. I was saying okay.
Okay. Well, yeah. So what we did, we developed Upscore FICO Solutions, and pretty much through Upscore FICO, we are able to educate consumers about credit, how it works. Also the nuances and intricacies, and also best practices that need to be developed. in order to maintain a healthy credit score once we're able to achieve that for you. So right now, we've helped a number of people as far as getting their FICO scores where they need to be, as far as purchasing homes, starting businesses, whatever the goals are for the client. We're actually helping them to exceed those goals and acquire that 700 credit score.
Now, let me ask you, Scott, give us like 3 things that can totally drag down your credit score that people may not even think even has an effect?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question, Chere. The number one thing that brings down FICO scores would be new derogatory information. Now, what is that? That could be like a late payment, okay? If a collection pops up on your credit report, anything that's negative, that will bring down your score, okay? The second thing will be credit card balances, okay? Now, a lot of people will say, well, they may have a credit card, and let's say the limit on that card is $500, and, the balance on that card is, let's say, $450. Well, they're paying that card on time every month, but they don't see their scores move. And the reason being is because that that balance on that credit card is dragging down your score. Anything over 30% of the limit is going to drag down your score, okay? And the last thing will be inquiries, okay? Now, inquiries, they really only affect 10% of your score, which averages about a percentage point or 2 when it comes to your FICO score. So meaning if you have a rack of inquiries that's on your credit report, then that can drag down your score as well. So those are the top 3, well, actually the main 3 reasons why people's FICO scores are not as high as they anticipate.
Now, how long does it take? Like, let's say you're dragging your score. Now, let's say you have all 3 of those things going on. You're using your credit cards, you're asking for new credit cards, and you have derogatory information. How long does it take to repair a person's credit?
Well, that's a good question, too. And that really depends on what the client is bringing to the table. Everyone's circumstances are different, For example, you could have a judgment on your credit report, bankruptcy, repos. I mean, your credit could be, really challenging, okay? You can be in a challenging position or situation. Or you can just have a few collections on there. But the average client that we see that has, the average scenario taking place, you're talking about maybe a 90-day turnaround period or so. Now, it can be more complex, and those clients that are bringing things to the table that are, or situations to the table that are more complex, then we're talking about maybe about 6 months or so, 7 months, give or take. Okay, so it can vary depending on what the client brings to the table.
Okay, so then let's walk through a typical client for you. So someone's tuned in right now to Stress Less Radio, and they're like, man, I would love for my score to be over 700, because right now it's a 3. No. Now, the first, walk us through, you're going to run, right, Scott? Now, walk us through, like, the beginning to the end of a process with a client to help them to bring their FICO score up.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, what we do when we meet with a client, first of all, we ask them their goals. What are they trying to do? Because some people, they're trying to purchase a home. Some are trying to, do a refi, get some sort of, maybe start a business. We want to stick deeper and see exactly what direction that client is trying to move into. Okay, so once we determine that, then we can kind of see exactly what we can do. Now, the next question is going to be, what is the timeline? Okay, so for example, if you're trying to purchase a house, okay, what is that timeline? Are you trying to purchase in the next 6 months, within the next year? I mean, I have clients come to me and say, you know what, Scott, I'm trying to purchase a house in the next 30 days. Now, that's an unrealistic goal, okay, especially if your scores are, 500, mid-5s or what have you. That's really unrealistic. So then we have to, set them on the right path as far as, being realistic with your goals. So once we've covered all of that, then what we have to do is first educate. Now, remember, what we do at Upscore FICO Solutions is educate our clients, because, you have other companies out there that, will help remove, or, credit repair companies that will remove negative items, and that's all they do. And honestly, a lot of people think that, and the common misconception is that removing negative items off your credit report is 95% of what needs to happen for you to restore your credit, which is totally false. Doing that is only about a third of what needs to happen. There's much more things that need to occur. So we talk to our client about educating them about, how your FICO score is actually calculated. And for your listeners, they need to understand that there are actually 5 key categories in which your FICO score is judged on, okay? The first would be payment history, and that is worth 35% of your score. Now, again, a lot of people think that, if I pay my bills on time, that's all I need to do to achieve a 700 credit score. I think that's the entire pie, which it's not. It's the biggest piece of the pie, but it's not the entire pie within itself. So 35% of your score is your payment history. So you pay your bills on time, that's 35% of your score. 30% of your score is what we call revolving debt ratio. Okay, now, revolving debt ratio is just a fancy way of saying credit card balances. So if you do not have credit cards, okay, or if you do have credit cards and the balances on those cards are too high, you're missing 30% of your score. So between payment history and revolving debt ratio, credit card balances, paying your bills on time, having credit cards, maintaining low balances, that accounts for 65% of your overall score. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that. Okay. Now, the next category is called average age of file. Okay, and that's for 15% of your score. And all average age of file means is, how long have you had credit? So it's been determined that if you've had credit over 7 years, it's better for your score. And if you have not had credit for 7 years, then it's more challenging for your score. And it's for this reason that, and I don't know if you ever heard, but if your listeners have ever heard this, if you have credit cards, and let's say you've had a credit card for 5 years, and you decide, I don't want to use this particular credit card any longer, I'm just going to, cancel the account. Now, you can cancel the account, and that's fine. But what's going to happen is you're also canceling out the history that you've acquired with that card. So that if you had that card for 5 years, that 5 years is gone. So that can drop your score 15%. Okay. Now the next category is called mix of credit. Now, mix of credit accounts for 10% of your score. Okay. And mix of credit just simply means you need to diversify the types of credit accounts that you have. So it's been determined that you need to, at minimum, have one installment loan. Okay. At minimum, you need to have at least 2 major credit cards, and at minimum, you need to have at least 1 retail account or charge card, okay? So if our clients do not have all of these accounts in place, we help them to establish them. Then we also help them to manage them as well. We just don't open up, let's say, a credit line for you and just have you go willy-nilly with it. That's not what we do. We actually give you the coaching and the strategy involved, because credit cards, you have to have a strategy in place for you to be successful. Now, just because you get a credit card, let's say for $300 line or $400 or $500 line, now a lot of people just use that for buying power. That's not what you do with those cards. Okay, there's a strategy that you use where you only use a certain amount on that particular card. Okay, and we teach our clients what to use and how to use it. You see what I'm saying? So that we can maximize that credit effort in order to enhance the FICO score. And so the last category would be inquiries, and that accounts for 10% of your score as well. Now, everyone, I think, are familiar with inquiries to some degree, but there's a couple things that you should know. Number one, inquiries, yes, they do measure the amount of time your credit has been pulled, okay? Now, there are 2 types of pulls, though. You have a soft pull, and then you have a hard pull. Soft pull, that really does not affect your credit score. It does not affect your inquiry count. And an example of that would be, let's say, if you're pulling your own credit report, or let's just say if you're going for a job and the new employer wants to pull your credit just to see what sort of candidate you are, okay, which a lot of employers are starting to do these days. So by doing that, that would be a soft pull. It doesn't count against you at all. A hard pull is when you're actually applying for a credit product, whether it be a credit line, a loan, line of credit. It doesn't matter what you're applying for, but as soon as you hit submit on that application, then that will be an inquiry. Now, inquiries do stay on your credit report for a period of 2 years, after which they begin to fall off. But what's really important to know is that, FICO and lenders, we look at the amount of inquiries that you've acquired over the past 6 months. So if you have an excessive amount of inquiries on your credit report, that can also drop your score.
So this is some valuable information. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're just going to do a quick overview of what we've already talked about. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned in to Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield and my special guest, Mr. Scott Glover, talking about finances, helping you to de-stress by getting your FICO score in order. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned in to Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield. We'll be right back.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is happy to announce our partnership with the May We Help You Radio Network. You can now catch the rebroadcast of our Wednesday show every Thursday at 6 p.m. That's Tanya Free and Friends, the podcast, every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. We welcome your comments and opinions 24/7 at TanyaFree.com, Facebook and Twitter, or send me a text by texting the word Tanya, that's 72727. Tanya Free and Friends, and may we help you radio. Living life with a purpose.
The Queen Esther Radio Show is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me, Jessica Taylor,
and me, Jason Mosley, to be entertained by authors, artists, and spiritual leaders.
We look forward to being a blessing in your life every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Only on the MWHY Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sherelle of Fit and Flow Yoga Radio. Wake up with me every Friday at 6 a.m. and have a wonderful yoga experience. We'll explore meditation and discuss how various yoga postures can help relieve your everyday stress. We'll also make the connection between our faith and wellness. Follow us on Spreaker.com to tune into the show. That's Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. And also search MWHY Radio to join me every Friday at 6 a.m. for Fit and Flow Yoga Radio with Sherelle. And until next time, surrender to your strength and always embrace your flow.
Hi, this is Benita with Off the Vine. Join us on Fridays at 3 o'clock for Fun Talk About Wine. This season, I'm going to put this little sommelier certification to work as we expand the conversation to talk about beer and spirits too. Meet more exciting special guests, and you never know just who may show up at the studio. Off the Vine with Benita on the May We Help You Radio Network, giving you something to whine about.
Hey, Chef Jovi here of the Eat Experience Radio Show. Join me 10 a.m. every Thursday to explore recipes, best restaurants, and food spots in and around the country. I look forward to receiving your comments, so follow us on Spreaker.com to tune into the show. That's SPREAKER.com. And search MWHY Radio to join me every Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Eat Experience Radio Show. And remember to share your Eat Experience.
All right, we're back, and you're tuned in to Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield, the Stress Manager. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday from 6 to 7. It's an hour all about you to relax, rejuvenate your mind and your body, and also get educated. And my, oh my, are we being educated today by Mr. Scott Glover. The number one cause of stress in the world right now is finances. And we're talking about how you can get your credit repaired and get that FICO score up so that you can get some of the things that you really need, not the wants. We're not worried so much about the wants. But just to recap, some of the things that you may be doing that is bringing your FICO score down. Do you have some new derogatory information or collections on your credit? Are your credit card balances too high? Are you spending over 30% of your limit? Are you having too many inquiries? That's percent of your score. And then 5 categories that impact the FICO score. This is all information that Mr. Scott Glover has given us so far on tonight's show. The categories are payment history, which is 35% of your score, revolving debt ratio, basically your credit card balances, that's 30%. Number 3 is your average age of file, so the length of that credit history, that's 15%. The mix of the credit, are you having a mixture of your credit? Do you have an installment loan? Do you have 2 major credit cards and then 1 retail account? That's 10% of your score. And then last but not least, inquiries. Are you having too many hard inquiries in over a 6-month period? Those soft credit inquiries don't affect your credit, but those hard credit inquiries, they affect your credit for up to 2 years. So we're getting some valuable information. If anyone has a question or a comment at any time throughout this hour, please feel free to just press 1, and you'll be queued, and we'll get you right in to ask Mr. Glover a question or make a comment. So, Scott, thank you so much for being on Stress Less Radio this evening. What are some other things that can help people to, stress less while they're trying to repair their credit, fix their credit, or just keep it healthy if you already have good credit?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, you have to have good habits. Okay, now, what does that essentially mean? When it comes to using credit cards, okay, I share this with my clients a lot. This is one of the things that we coach around. One good habit would be, again, I think I alluded to this on our last segment, is that, say, for example, you have a credit card that has a $500 limit, okay? Most people, when they get a credit card, they think that that's purchasing power, okay? But when you're starting to get credit cards with limits, like under 1,000, you know what I mean, especially, they're not for purchasing power, okay? They're more for, using them strategically to enhance your score. And how do you do that? All you will, with our clients, even though if you exceed that 30% limit or balance, if 30% debt, debt revolving debt ratio, got a little tongue tied there. You receive that 30%, meaning if you go 30% over your limit, then your score is going to drop. With our clients, we have them keep it at 10%. So if you do that, then that way, what's going to happen? The credit card companies are going to start expanding your limit. Okay, so within a few months.
So you said keep it at 10%.
We have our clients keep it at exactly 10%. Ideally, you want to be anywhere between 1% and 10%. What that's going to do is going to do a couple things for you. Number one, the credit card companies will start upping your limit because their goal is they want you to spend. Okay, so they're going to start upping your limit, and that's how people start to get those $10,000, $7,000, $5,000 limits. Now, once you have a limit like that on your credit card, then you can use it for some purchasing power, and you won't go over that 30%. You see what I'm saying? So keeping your balance at 10%, anywhere between 1% and 10%, that will help to do that. The second thing is the lower the balance on your credit card, the higher the score. Okay? So you have to discipline yourself to do that. Now, I do have clients now, okay, that, we get them the credit cards and we coach them, but then there's always that client that says, well, I had to, they have a $300 limit, and then we check their FICO score, and we see that it has gone down. And we're like, okay, let's take a look and see what's going on in their credit report. And we see that particular card has now been maxed out. Get with the client and say, hey, what's going on? Well, something came up, Scott. Something came up. Well, you know what? That's the thing about discipline. You have to have a discipline. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a long-term vision in mind because something is always going to come up, okay? You have to not use that particular card. If we just got that card and something came up and you just received it, you didn't have it before, so what would you have done in that scenario? So we asked our clients, in order for this to work, you have to, stick with the program and heed the coaching. So that's one of the things that we coach around, having good habits, okay, and developing those habits. And then also knowing and what the FICO scoring model, which is those 5 areas that you just had gone over again, you have to understand what those mean, okay? The reason being is because if you do not understand how you're being impacted, there's no way that you can adequately affect your score. Now, we do all the heavy lifting for you or for the client, but the client has to help us help them, okay? So they have to keep that FICO scoring model in mind, okay, when they're doing their shopping or when they're trying to purchase a home or get qualified for any other lending opportunities. They have to keep that in mind. And so what we help our clients do is impact all 5 of those categories. Now, you had said earlier, credit repair. I like to get away from that term because credit repair, credit repair companies and companies that just, remove negative items off of credit reports, that's only one of those categories, 35%, which is the payment history. Within that category, that's when all the negative items come off, okay? So what we help our clients, again, to help them to positively impact all 5. So we like to stay away from that term, credit repair, because, it's like these old saying, you teach a man to fish. Credit repair companies, they don't teach you anything. They just remove negative items, and a lot of times they're ineffective with doing that. I can get into that reason why in a little bit, but the education is what's really important, and that's what we coach around as well, the education, because whatever the client's goal is, whether it be to buy a house, buy a car, start a business, whatever that goal is, to us, it's a bonus, okay? The real win is for the client to take away that education so they'll never, ever again be in a situation where they have poor credit, at least from not knowing what to do. So those are the things we pretty much coach around.
All right. Yeah, definitely education is key. Now, I was talking to someone that does something similar to what you do, and you let me know whether this was accurate or not. But she said that, say you have a creditor that's calling you about some derogatory information, and maybe it's old. It may be old. But if they call you and you say, they ask for you, they actually mention your name, like, hey, Ms. is this Chere Cofield? And I'm like, yes, that they can start reporting all over again. Even if it's an old, stagnant, derogatory report, once they reach you and you've acknowledged that it's you, that they can start reporting as if it's a new derogatory or collection account again. Is that accurate?
Well, there is some validity to that. However, what we do with people have to understand how collections work, because you may not have to pay them, okay, depending on the circumstances. Now, everyone's like, oh, what do you mean I have to pay my collections? Now, let me explain that, okay? Now, let me just first explain how collections actually work, okay? Let's say, for example, that you have a Target charge card, okay, and you say you charge up $1,000. You owe Target $1,000, but you don't pay it. So they charge off your account, okay? Now, the charge-off account is a debt account that you can no longer use. However, it's still reporting negative information on your credit report. So what then happens is, a lot of people don't know this, but as soon as Target charges off your account, they get paid, okay? They recoup their losses off you because they're insured, okay? Anyone that does any sort of lending has, policies to help them recoup their losses off of bad debts, okay? So they get paid, all right? It's unbeknownst to you because, you're the consumer. You don't know this. So then what happens is they will sell, because Target is a business now. They're all about the bottom line. Just using Target as an example. They then sell your debt to XYZ bill collector, okay? Now, they may sell it for pennies on the dollar. But let's just say they sell the debt for, let's say, $500, which is extremely high, okay? But let's just say they do that for $500. So they sell this debt to this XYZ bill collector, and when XYZ bill collector receives a debt, they're going to tack on their fees too. So now you're getting called from XYZ bill collector on behalf of Target saying now you owe $1,200, okay, as an example. So then you're going to say, well, you know what, I don't have $1,200, Then they're going to say, okay, you know what, why don't we settle? Just give us $800 and we'll call it quits, okay? You're like, okay, well, I just want to get this monkey off my back. I just want to, get off my credit report. So, yeah, that's a deal. Sounds good to me. So you pay that $800. Now what happens is this. You've done little or nothing for your credit score. You've made them a profit, the XYZ bill collector. Target has already gotten paid off of you. But, again, you've done little or nothing for your credit score. And why is that? Because it's going to show up on your credit report that Target, it was a collection account settled for less than owed, which is still a negative item that needs to be disputed to begin with. So there are sometimes if you do settle, okay, you can ask that credit card, or the collection agency to put it on your report or report it as being paid in full. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's actually illegal if they do not do that after you've talked to them and asked them to do that, because usually they record the conversations, and you can also do it in writing. But I just tell my clients, let us dispute it to begin with, because a lot of times we can get things off, and then if it wasn't paid before, I'm not saying anyone not to pay their bills, but if the bill wasn't paid before, get it off your credit report, why pay it now? Because typically, the worst thing that happens, when you don't pay your bill is that it surfaces on your credit report. Now, you do have those instances, and this is very important to know too. You do have those instances wherein a creditor will take legal action against you, meaning they're going to take you to court, try to get a judgment against you, try to garnish your wages for, a debt that you may owe. Now, how do you know this is going to happen? If you, have ever had a collection agency give you a call they can be very nasty people on the other end of that phone. All right, and you know what? I think they need to tune into your show after you've had a conversation with a debt collector, because that can really stress you out. But what happens is, excuse me, when the bill collector, I have something caught in my throat. When the bill collector calls you, okay, and you're trying to I lost my train of thought, Cherie. I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Where was I, Cherie? It'll come back. It'll come back. It's really important to know that it'll come back. It will come back, Cherie. I'm sorry about that. But
that's okay. It's plenty to talk about in credit world that we know we can do something to come back.
It happens to the best of us. I'm telling you, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, we were talking. You were talking about. Like, so if we were talking about creditors and if you have a collection.
Oh, right. Typically, the worst thing that happens is if you're just servicing your credit report. But now, what can happen is if the creditor is trying to take legal proceedings against you, you'll know that by not if the bill collector is saying, we're going to sue you if you don't pay this debt, or they're going to say anything they can possibly say to you. They're going to make you, feel as though that you're intimidated, you need to pay this debt. You'll know if a creditor is going to try to actually take legal proceedings against you if you receive a letter in the mail drafted by their attorneys announcing their intentions. So that's how you know if a company is trying to take you to court, if they send you something in the mail, okay? And if they do that, your best option at that point is to call that creditor and set up payment arrangements, okay? Because that's the only thing that's going to stop proceedings at that point, because no one really wants to have a garnishment or some sort of judgment reflected on their credit report. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
I told you it will come back.
it will come back. It'll come back.
Yeah,
I told you you're the financial guru here. So, we're getting some really, really great information from Mr. Scott Glover. He's been a dynamic guest this evening. We're going to take another quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about getting your FICO score up. We're going to find out how you can reach Mr. Scott Glover if you have some questions that you don't want to ask on the air, but you want to get in touch with him. So don't go anywhere. You're tuned in to Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield, the Stress Manager, right here on May We Help You Radio Network. Don't go anywhere.
May promises to be an exceptional month for Spirit Journeys Radio. And I'm Rita Ricks, inviting you to share in the fun. Our theme this month is Thoughts Are Power, and believe me, they truly are. May 5th, I'll share my understanding of the law of attraction and give you examples of how my thoughts have created my reality. And we'll weave this theme through every show. May 12th is the 1-year anniversary of Spirit Journeys Radio. And I want you to call in to please say hello. It's open mic night, so call in to show your support, and I already appreciate you. May 19th, my guest is Sandra Yancey, founder of E-Women Network, the premier women's business network in North America. She's going to be in Richmond May 28th to celebrate our newly formed Richmond chapter. May 26th, Heather Todd, managing director of our new chapter, is my guest, and she's going to share her journey as well as her thoughts. She and I will compare notes about the benefits of being a member of E-Women Network. A full month of high energy, powerful ideas and how they manifest, celebration of my great relationship with MWHY Radio, and more. Join me all month. I'm Rita, speaking to your spirit.
Hi, my name is Letitia M., owner of May We Help You Network. I want to thank you for joining us and enjoying our hosts here on MWHY Radio Network. Please visit us online at mwhyradio.com and like us on facebook.com/mwhyradio. Tune in to learn more about our hosts and upcoming contests and our TV programming that'll be coming to you soon. MWHY Radio, bringing together business, community, and you.
All right, we're back, and you're tuned in to Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield, the stress manager, and we're about 15 minutes out from the end of our hour. Again, if you're just tuning in to Stress Less Radio, this is all about you. It's an hour every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. for you to relax, rejuvenate your mind and your body, and get educated. And today we're getting educated by Mr. Scott Glover, and he's talking to us about how to improve our FICO scores and how to improve or have good habits when it comes to spending and your credit so that FICO score can stay healthy. And, you know, if your finances are in order, believe me, it will definitely decrease your stress because finances is the number one cause of stress all over the world. Either you want more money, you need more money, you need to improve your credit score because that's stressing you out and you have things you need and want and you don't have any spending power because your FICO score is too low. Well, Mr. Scott Glover is the man for you. So, Scott, tell everyone how they can contact you if they have questions that, you know, they may be a little shy. Nobody wants to press the 1 on the line right now, but, you know, they can reach you privately and talk to you off the air about what they can do about their personal situation.
Absolutely. Well, there's a couple ways. Number one, I just want to give our website out just so people can take a look at that. Contact information is on there, but I'm also going to give it as well. Our website is www.upscorefico.com. That's UP, like you're looking up, score, like you're looking at a scoreboard, FICO, FICO.com. So upscorefico.com is our website. You can either email me at S as in Scott, Glover, GLOV as in Victor, ER, at upscorefico.com. So that's sglover at upscorefico.com. Or you can call me at 240-543-3522. Again, that's 240-543-3522.
All right, y'all. Y'all have no excuses. The man gave you his personal phone. He gave you his email. He gave you his website. So guess what? If you have problems with your credit score, you want to see your habits turn around as far as your spending and how it's affecting your FICO score, call him up. I'm sure he'll answer your questions for you. Let his company, Upscore FICO, help you out. Now, Scott, what are some other tips that you can give us, you know, some quick tips that'll help you to improve your FICO score or keep it healthy? Either one, whichever one you want to discuss, we're going to take all this juicy information.
Sure, absolutely. You want to look at because a lot of people do not pull their FICO score or their credit reports, all right? So it's really easy to do this. I would advise everyone that's listening to sign up with a service that you can check your credit report daily. Okay, I recommend that you check it at least 2 to 3 times a month. Okay, now this site that I would because you know identity theft is rampant. You know,
so not annually. It used to be annually. So no longer annually. You should be checking it more frequently.
Yeah, I think so because when you're looking at your credit report, you're looking at more than just your credit score, okay? You're looking at this credit report shows a number of different things. It shows, you know, your inquiries. Your inquiries will show you what you've been applying for. So say, for example, your identity has been compromised, and you check your credit report and you see some things that you didn't apply for. It's going to show up under your inquiry tab. You see what I'm saying? So you want to look at that. You also want to look at, of course, you want to check your FICO score, but, you know, FICO scores, they change monthly, you know. But you want to take a look and see what's going on with at least be familiar with it 2 to 3 times a month. That's my recommendation. That's staying on top of it because FICO scores do change, you know. For example, I mean, they can fluctuate, go up and down, you know. So a good resource tool I have all my clients utilize is called, hold on one second here, Credit Check Total, okay? Now, there's a website. You go to www.creditchecktotal, okay? They're really good at what they do. They're nationally rated. When you go there, it costs you $1 to pull your initial credit report, and then it's going to say, for you to have it for the monthly rate is going to be $29.95, but that's not entirely accurate. Okay, all you have to do is when you sign up for the service, pull your first credit report and sign up for the service. You call the customer service number there, and then you just request your 50% discount. It's one of those type of things that you don't ask them, they won't give it to you, okay? You have to know to ask. Yeah, you have to know to ask, and that's going to bring that monthly rate down to $14.95 a month, which I think is very reasonable for everyone to be abreast of what's on their credit reports, you see. So
that $14.95 is cheap compared to steal your identity and steal all your money out of your account.
Exactly. And this is also a credit monitoring service as well, so anything that happens on your credit report, a new derogatory item surfaces on your credit report. Someone uses your, or say even you apply for something, or someone else, unbeknownst to you, is using your information. It's going to send you an alert to your email. Then all you have to do is log in and see what's going on. So it's really good for you to have, especially in today and time. I mean, being a banker, you wouldn't believe how many times I came across fraud cases. So. Being on top of your finances and being on top of that credit report will definitely ease the stress, let me tell you. It's always good to see, if something were to happen, it's good to catch it on the front end. You know what I mean? Instead, because like the average person, I mean, my clients are asking, okay, when was the last time you pulled your credit report? Now, unless they've come from a realtor, because we get a lot of our referrals from realtors and people in the mortgage lending business or industry, unless they've come or spoken to someone like that where they've had their credit report already pulled, the average person will say to me, I had last year, or even longer than that, a few months ago, so it's really good information or good advice to stay on top of your credit report by signing up for one of these credit monitoring services. Now, with Credit Check Total, you can actually see all 3 credit bureaus, and you will actually see a score from all 3 credit bureaus. You'll be able to see everything that's on your credit report, so you'll have a really good snapshot of what's on your credit report.
But it doesn't show us our FICO score, correct?
Yes, it will. It'll show us our FICO. Okay. Yep, it will show a score for all 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Awesome.
Yep. So Credit Check Total. Yeah, and even as an upscore client, a client has to have that service, because there has to be some accountability as well. You know what I mean? So. When clients come to us, that's one of the things we have them do, sign up for that service. So that's a little tidbit that I think that everyone should want to go to. I don't care what credit monitoring service that you go to, as long as you can see all 3 credit reports from all 3 credit bureaus, and you can see all 3 scores. Like Credit Karma, a lot of people go with them, but you can't see all 3 with Credit Karma. You can only see 2, so you can't really get a good snapshot of what your situation is, just seeing, the 2/3 of what's happening. So
that's true.
Yeah. Because it also go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, it's okay. Go ahead. Finish your thought first, and I'll ask my question.
Okay. I was going to say the other thing is people have to realize that not all companies report to all 3 credit bureaus. Some companies only report to, let's say, Experian. Other companies only report to maybe, say, 2 of the 3. Some companies do report to all 3. So that's why it's really important to know, and that's why your score may be different per credit bureau. So it's really important to look at all 3 credit bureaus. That's all I was going to say.
Awesome. Now, every week when we have guests on the show, we know you're talking about finances and we're talking about that FICO score, but we always ask each guest to tell us 3 ways that they de-stress and unwind in their week, because you may do something that may help someone else out there to come up with a new idea to de-stress and unwind. So 3 ways that you de-stress and unwind in your week, because you're dealing with people's scores and stuff. I know you have headaches during the week.
Well, yeah, I do, but hey, it's all good. If it's been a rough week, it's happy hour. No, I'm taking that away. No, not happy hour.
Hey. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, Scott.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
Exactly.
No, but I would say really, I'm a big music lover, so, and I have a extensive vinyl collection, so I love listening to vinyl, especially jazz. So I'll put some jazz on, put on the record player. I just like to have that vinyl sound. and shoot a little pool, That's what I'll do to unwind,
right.
or spend some time with my girlfriend, That always helps. She's very supportive, and, those of you that are lucky enough to have a significant other that loves you and cherishes you, spend time with them, and support you. I think that'll be a good stress reliever, too. Sometimes now it can go the other way now, right, Sheree? Well, they're causing that stress.
Hey, that's right. But you have to know what you're into. You got to know what you're into. So
that's right.
Guess what?
That's right.
We're going to, what was our stress less tip of the week? Forgive freely. We're going to freely forgive this week. Scott, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a guest on Stress Less Radio. This was definitely a great topic, and we definitely have to have you back soon to do it again, because we can never get this information enough about, protecting your credit, protecting your identity, knowing, just information that I never knew what percentage of each category actually affected the credit. So I've learned a lot just from having you on the show. And I'm going to post that information on my Facebook wall. As well as how you can contact Mr. Scott Glover, so that we can make sure, people call you, and if they have questions, they can talk to you. So we're getting a bunch of likes here on my page from what I've posted so far about what you've educated us on this evening. But
excellent.
Again,
also,
make sure you
I was going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut across. If you go to our website and go under the credit education tab, that FICO scoring model is sitting right there, so you can see it as well.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll post your website and all right on my Facebook and also my Twitter, so folks can know how to contact you. But again, make sure you look up the website, upscorefico.com. And if you want to reach Scott directly, it's S. Glover, Glover, at upscorefico.com. And then again, you can contact him at 240-543-3522. Thank you so much, Scott, and this is definitely a great show talking about getting that FICO score up. I definitely learned something this evening.
Well, thanks for having me, Sheree. I really appreciate it.
Sure, anytime. Now, again, we're just going to do a quick recap of tonight's show. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's an hour all about you. Take time for yourself. Self-care is so important. It's an hour about relaxation, rejuvenating your mind and your body, and being educated on different topics that we have. So this was a great topic. Again, finances is the number one cause of stress, the number one on all the charts. It crosses all barriers. So definitely getting to know about your FICO score, what you can do to protect your identity, your credit. I'm going to post all the information from tonight's show on my Facebook and my Twitter account. So if you're looking for me on social media, I'm Chere Cofield, INT. That's ChereCofield, INT. We cut the international short. We didn't want you typing too long. Again, the stress less tip of the week is to forgive freely. That's right. Even if you are wronged by someone else, be the first to forgive, and then set your mind free. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Everybody remembers that song from En Vogue. Stress comes from holding on to the injuries that others have done to us. Let go of the small stuff. Let go of the junk. Free your mind and stress less. Our relaxation destination of the week is Beijing, China. Again, their weather is 85 to 92 degrees during the day and about 59 to 64 degrees in the evening. And it's a great place to use when you're thinking about doing your creative visualization. And again, that creative visualization is taking your mind on a mini mental vacation where you close your eyes, you focus on taking deep breaths in through your nose, out of your mouth, allowing your shoulders to rise and fall, and actually relaxing and releasing all the cares and the worries and the stresses that you have going on in that moment. So it's a mini mental vacation. So you can picture yourself actually being in Beijing, China, tasting all the different types of food and delicacies they have. Make sure you go on a sightseeing tour where you can see all those beautiful buildings and the Chinese artifacts that they have and so many of their museums. Just take yourself away. For as long as you have to take yourself away, you can do that. And it can be done anywhere, in your car, at your desk, in the bathroom. Wherever you are, if you need that mini mental vacation, self-care is so important. Take care of yourself, because without taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. Make sure you visit my website, ChereCofieldInternational.com, to find out what the upcoming events in the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area are. Also, give me some feedback. We made some changes to my website. I want to know what you think. We added some more books. I'm excited that my 5th book will be out. It's a book collaboration with a bunch of other dynamic women, The Fearless Living Experience. And so I have a chapter in the book. I'm not going to tell you the title. You have to come out to the book launch and find out. That's going to be at the National Harbor. It's going to be in June, the end of June. So come on out, spend a day at the National Harbor, taking, some of the beautiful scenery. Is Stress Less down there also, because you can sit at the waterside after we're done and just enjoy the evening. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. Again, make sure you tune in every Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to Stress Less Radio with Chere Cofield, the stress manager. And remember, stress comes from our challenges being greater than our ability to deal with them. So when you tune in every Tuesday, we're going to give you real-life solutions to all those challenges so that you can stress less. In the meantime, make sure that you have a happy, healthy, and harmonious lifestyle, and I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Good night. All right.